In 2016, football witnessed the greatest underdog story of all time.
Dilly ding, dilly dong, come on!
Leicester City weren't supposed to win the Premier League, yet despite changing managers after the Great Escape and having 5,000 to 1 odds to win it, everything aligned. It was a pleasure to witness something that special, but can it happen again? You don't want to say no, because crazy things have happened since then in other leagues. However, with each season passing, there's more and more money getting pumped into the game, especially the Premier League. Adding to the fact that Manchester City are arguably the best run club in the division and one of the richest in the world, it just makes me question if it's even possible. Probably not with the flipping Terminator starting for them, so let's use Football Manager 2022 and keep Haaland at Dortmund. With Leicester, put every single title-winning player back onto the team and give them the attributes they had in the winter update of FM16, the year they won it all. Yeah, some of the guys in the side are almost 40, but thanks to the editor, they returned to their best. With Claudio Ranieri returning to the fray, and most of the same staff, can they recreate Leicester's 2015-16 Premier League winning campaign? The answer is that Simeone took over Manchester United. Ranieri also hasn't been sacked, which is good, but did they do it? Going to the Premier League? And no. Not even close. 9th place with 52 points is 29 off that special campaign. Even if they matched that total, they'd be 4 behind. Vardy got 15 goals, and Gola was their best performing player, while Mahrez underperformed in comparison to real life. Ujo and Okazaki proved to be decent secondary scoring options. However, big thing to consider is that since these guys have their modern age, some of their attributes would decrease. I mean, 42-year-old Marcin Wasilewski isn't going to survive. But what do you want me to do? Change their date of birth? I'm not God. In the EFL Cup, they lost in the 4th round to Manchester City, and the FA Cup ended in the quarterfinal to Newcastle. Yet, in their last 10 matches of the campaign, they only won once. Granted, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal were there, but some of the results are downright embarrassing. So Claudio Ranieri couldn't recreate his magic in FM22. But could I? Oh, sorry. Could Claudio Crunieri do it? It all started in the Community Shield. Well, that wasn't on the initial schedule. A 3-0 loss to Man City because I used it as fitness for the second team. Now, to the real show. Matchday 1 saw Leicester defeating Sunderland 4-2 at home, and what gave me an initial liking to Claudio. I just remember him speaking in a post-match press conference and seeming so likable. Unfortunately, Sunderland aren't in the Premier League anymore, but we did play their Tyneside rivals with the exact same starting 11. Nonetheless, it wasn't any of these guys getting the winners, but instead the substitute Benelune assisting Christian Fuchs in the 80th minute to get the ball rolling. West Ham on Matchday 2 would be replaced by Wolverhampton. I wish they weren't. Instead of a 2-1 victory, it was a 3-1 loss with Nathan Dyer scoring our lone goal. I don't want to talk about Manchester City. Get there, Schmeichel, get there. Oh my gosh, you idiot. You damn idiot. What are you doing? Why? It was meant to be a 1-1 draw with Spurs. Then, during training, Kasper Schmeichel got a 2 to 3 month injury to his hip. How does that happen? He played every match for Leicester in that special year, but that ain't happening here. Instead, we now have to play 48-year-old Mark Schwarzer, who I accidentally made English. Sorry, Aussies. Crystal Palace for the 4th game continued the red. Another loss that should have been a draw.
I think we all know where this is going.
Next, Arsenal was in place for the incredible Aston Villa matchup that had Nathan Dyer scoring an 89th minute winner. Very similar to that game, we went down 2-0 to Arsenal thinking, here we go again. But then, Jamie Vardy finally showed up. Here we go, Albrighton. Come on, Vardy. Boom! Jamie Vardy, there we go. Oh, let's go, Vardy. Come on, Vardy, do it again. Boom! 2-2! You love to see it. Things were finally turning around. But disaster struck.
Just been taking each game as they come. The record wasn't in my mind, and that's how I've had to be. Because I think if I'd have been concentrating on that, I think it'd have affected my performances.
That's not good. We concede to Lacazette in the final 10 minutes, lose, and drop into the relegation zone. This was supposed to recreate Leicester from 2016, not 2022. Vardy was basically out for 2 months, so he wasn't going to break the record for most consecutive games with Premier League goals. What an incredible run that was, which went from matchday 4 all the way to matchday 14, where Jamie Vardy broke Ruud van Nistelrooy's record against the club he did it for. So what happened during that period for us? The OG Claudio Ranieri demanded more from Wes Morgan, and followed that up with questioning the club itself.
Come on.
I initially tried to copy everything Claudio Ranieri did. 4-4-2, same lineups and substitutions, but that clearly wasn't working. The media were questioning performances, specifically Okazaki's, so right there and then, I decided to tell 2015-16 to piss off and bin the 4-4-2 with some asymmetric crap against 3rd place Burnley. We actually scored. Unfortunately, we conceded as well, but baby steps. Simply ignore us having one shot on target. The way we were playing couldn't be ignored though, as against Everton, despite them not scoring on us, we decided to do that ourselves. You're supposed to be playing for us, Johan, not against us. Carlson made it 2, and L's were back on the menu. Another formation switch later, and Spurs were up. The Japanese man getting slaughtered in the media decided to show up.
Okazaki! So you just got Kane! You just got Kane! You just got Kane! You just got Kane! You just got Kane!
Last place got me thinking that I might not be able to replicate Leicester's title win. Just a hunch. With everything looking bleak, there was only one thing that could save us. The formation geniuses admire. It was time to bring in the 4-3-2. But not before a Danny Drinkwater injury. Norwich first, and winning finally returned for Leicester. A 1-0 victory. Southampton afterwards was embroiled in heated exchanges between Chroo and Hasenhüttl. The man was right in his assessment of me, but he didn't have to say it out loud.
Let's be nice.
The match itself was as heated, especially with the returning Vardy assisting the Okazaki party. Southampton would take the lead with strikes from Broja and Che Adams, but with Jamie Vardy as the Raumdeuter, he assisted the Okazaki party once again. And minutes later, the party continued with Shinji sending Maras in behind for the go-ahead goal. That'd be the winner, despite the XG not lining up. We were still in relegation. But now, 4 points above Southampton. Hasenhüttl was salty AF as he said Chroo was still facing the sack, but that bozo would soon find that case to be with himself. Please ignore the Watford match. Chelsea next, and they weren't doing too hot either. What a time to face them as Vardy the Raumdeuter found the Okazaki party, who then played the ball off to Maras for a hot start. Chelsea's lineup looked fraudulent, and their play showcased it by scoring a penalty. Don't worry though, Vardy's new role brought life into the team as his cross found Albrighton for the winner. That got us not just out of the relegation zone, but tied with Chelsea. Continuing on with Brentford, we are finding our stride. Another Albrighton strike added with a Maras pen brought us up to 14. Even better, Hasenhüttl got sacked. With the Christmas period in reach, the winning run had to be ending with Liverpool arriving to the King Power. However, they decided to rotate their side, and laid on Okazaki on the right. Looking for a man, he finds Nathan Dyer. Back to Okazaki. To Riyad Mahrez, and somehow, worst shot I've ever seen. Milner! That's a ref! That's a penalty! It wasn't. Okay, we still have it though. Schmeichel, what a ball to Mahrez. To Dyer. He's still got a pace. Nathan Dyer. Boom! Let's go! Disaster class from Jurgen Klopp, and a victory for your boys. Sadly, West Ham scored a corner against us, which shouldn't be surprising. We don't have the tallest group of guys, and they aren't blessed with jumping reach. Mahrez would equalize, and after penalties were exchanged, the real Raumdeuter found Mahrez for the winner. Despite a near last minute scare, 6 points from 7 put us in 11th place with 22 points. An incredible turnaround, which could only be ruined by my game crashing. I didn't have autosaves on because I was previously simming an experiment for a season and I forgot to turn them back on. The latest save file was on match day 4, and I couldn't be bothered gathering the right results for 12 matches. So I guess we'll never know if I could recreate it. But boy, I'm sure Manchester City were scared. Nevertheless, the experiment I mentioned was this Leicester City side, but every single player's current ability was increased by 10, and all their natural fitness was maxed out at 20, meaning they shouldn't decline in their attributes as much as before. One sim later, we're in June 2022, so Blackburn were promoted to the Premier League, so let's see what the results of the Premier League were. Ooh, so close. We almost got the replication done. Okazaki and Jamie Vardy, top scorers in the league. You love to see it. Riyad Mahrez was also the top assister in the league with 16. He got 11 goals. What an insane year by him. We got N'Golo. Very nice. 2 goals, 10 assists. Very nice. Mark Albrighton though, he did pretty well. 8 assists added with his 2 goals. Top scorers, lots of goal scoring from this team. Very nice, in all honesty. Danny Drinkwater getting a decent season as well. 4 goals, 6 assists. Gökhan Inler, this is what you'd call a super sub. It almost worked, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. However, they should have done it. They dropped points in 4 of their last 5 matches, which is just terrible. If they didn't bottle it, they probably would have won the league. But I was hiding a filter here. They did win the FA Cup in penalties. So they did recreate something. Now, I once did recreate Leicester's title win, but in FIFA 21. I took the stats from every one of their players' best FIFA 16 Ultimate Team cards and applied it to career mode. I played half of the games and simmed the others, which led to Jamie Vardy and Mahrez leading the way to a Premier League title. So, it can be done.